You partnered with Trackhouse, Justin Marks, those guys over there to put on a race, the first race of the high limits point season, right?
Yeah, and it's going to pay $50,000 to win.
It's just fun to see that, these guys are able to race for such, high purses, and, it really feels like we're on the mainstream, and, we're at a top level.
It's just good to be involved with good people like Kyle and Brad and Justin.
It takes somebody, with courage and the right entrepreneurship to kind of push it to that stage, and I think that's kind of what they're doing. They're able to take it kind of to that next level.
Seeing how healthy the schedule was and the payout and the amount of races you can do makes it hard to not want to do it.
Sprint car racing is something I'm very passionate about, and I want these drivers to be racing for the money that they deserve.
Welcome to episode 1 of the High Limit Room. I guess we can call this the official podcast of the High Limit series. My name is Dillon Welch. I'm one of the announcers this year for the High Limit series. And I think you probably know the other two guys, series founders, part-time competitors or full-time competitors, I guess, in the High Limit series. Maybe if you're Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet. Brad, before we actually do this show, we have to do a victory toast, and this was your idea for Kyle on Sunday at Richmond. So I'm gonna let you lead the victory toast. We all have our drinks here. What is that? What's everybody drinking? We had to. It took us so long to record this show because we had to find a time that fit into Brad's drinking schedule. So now that we've got that figured out, we're all ready to go. So Brad, take it away.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a few things that we're going to toast to. Obviously, I was able to get a win at Devil's Bowl. Kyle was finally able to get a win at Richmond. He got lucky. And then also we got a toast to the first race at Lakeside coming up. It's a lot of exciting things for the whole High Limit team here. So cheers.
Indeed. Cheers.
Oh,
what's everybody drinking? Brad, you got a White Claw?
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, I hope.
Not in California.
Not here, but it's all right. You can do a couple White Claws during the day here.
What do you got, Larson?
I got some Smoke Wagon from up there. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right.
I don't know about, it's probably the earliest I've ever had some bourbon.
But a nice day. It's a nice day in Charlotte, though. It's drinking weather in Charlotte. Yeah, it's like 80 degrees here today.
85 degrees outside.
He'll be at Saeed's here in a couple hours.
Oh yeah.
I think Dylan's still waiting to sing his song from the other night.
I am still recovering from Sunday night. Let's put it that way. All right. So quickly for those of you watching, we're going to do this show as kind of a preview to each of the now 11 remaining high limit races. And just kind of get in here and talk shop, kind of bench race and let these guys tell some stories and have fun with it. So we're excited to kind of be a part of this and to have this get off the ground here this week. And of course, previewing Lakeside, the first race, which is less than a week away, the Heartland of America Showdown presented by Trackhouse Racing. So first things first, though, guys, and I'm going to get your thoughts on this. The high rollers are announced. They were announced on Sunday, the full-time guys. And I'm not going to go through and read everybody's name, but it's a who's list of sprint car racers: Tyler Courtney, multi-time All-Star champion; Rico Abreu, Sam Haferteep Jr., an ASCS champion. You got all these talented guys that are committed to 25 of them committed to running the full season. So, Kyle, we can start with you. What's your thoughts on the group that's assembled and kind of getting ready to go to Lakeside?
I think it's super exciting. I think we're all shocked at how many, signed up to follow the 11 race season. Some extremely talented race car drivers, great teams, drivers who've won, marquee events. Brent Marks, I think, the season that he had last year, having him now know that he's going to run all 11 of our races is pretty damn cool. So, and it's the first time I get to follow a series in a sprint car since, my local days in California. So I'm excited to get back in the sprint car with Paul Silva, get to compete with all those competitors, but not only them, a lot of the other guys who maybe not get to go to all 11, but, come dabble in when we, go to Pennsylvania or just different regional drivers that are really good in those regions. So definitely a great crop of teams and drivers.
What are we expecting total car count wise at Lakeside? Do we know yet?
We can guesstimate. Obviously we got our 26 and then I've spoke to most of the outlaw teams. I would say 95% of them are coming. And then you're going to have those guys that did commit to the whole series that are kind of the Midwesterners that are going to come. So my guess is right around 50. I think 50 solid, good guys. So pretty spectacular show Tuesday night.
How much recruiting did you guys individually do to get guys that, that wanted to commit to the full season? Was that something that was, part of your job as promoter, or was that something where you didn't have to work too hard at it and guys really just wanted to come do it and come run the full season?
Yeah, we didn't do any, we didn't try to convince anybody to do it. We just basically came up with the concept that we thought people would really enjoy. And the whole goal of this, from the original, conversation was to make sprint car racing bigger and better and give them more money to race for. So we figured putting something out like this out there middle of the week with the big paydays that we would have a good following. Obviously, it's really gratifying to see it all come to life and actually get the following, and the industry's really backing it. And a lot of guys are excited. So it's really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah. And to have the names associated with it. Right. And Shane Stewart and Justin Marks, who are coming on to not only, make it a big race monetarily, but just to add some star power too. Kyle, obviously you have a relationship with both of those guys in the past. And I'm imagining it's pretty exciting and pretty fun for you to be able to kind of get the band back together and do something like this.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. When we originally set out to do all these races, we were going to be the sole promoters of all the events. And when Shane and Justin approached us, it was kind of a no-brainer, and just really, really cool to get the three of us, now including Brad, back together. We had a lot of fun in the Larson Marks days. With Shane, kind of developing our sprint car team and winning a King's Royal for us and challenging for outlaw championships. So a lot of fun, back in 2000, I guess 14, 15, 16 or so then. So yeah, no, it was just a lot of fun and cool to have Shane see where he's at in his career now on the promotion side. All the stuff Justin Marks has now accomplished, both on the racetrack, but off the racetrack as a businessman and team owner in the Cup Series. Has been amazing to follow his kind of career path. And Justin's he's got a crazy mind, and I look forward to seeing him, him and Shane kind of grow this event into something bigger. I don't know if they've released a photo of the trophy yet or anything, but
I think they just did today.
The trophy's amazing. So I like to chase trophies too. So that's one I think all of us will want to win.
Yeah, it's cool trophy for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned, Justin kind of being, associated with some crazy ideas and some stuff like that. A $50,000 race to start off the season. Not how we drew it up, but it doesn't get any crazier than that, right? I mean, that's that if you're going to come out of the gate and make a statement, doing it for a $50,000 to win race is pretty spectacular.
Not only a $50,000 to win, but on a Tuesday night.
Right.
I think that's what's pretty awesome about our series is, a lot of money for these teams to chase when they typically wouldn't be, racing for that kind of money, even on a weekend, but let alone a midweek while they're on their way to maybe another event. So, 50,000 win at Lakeside is going to be pretty awesome. I know it sounds like that they've had a lot of pre-sale tickets and, the buzz around the event is really, really up there.
That's what I was going to ask. You guys obviously have a great feel of the pulse kind of sprint car racing and not only competitors, but race fans and the like too. So what has been the, anticipation level that you guys maybe personally have experienced? I mean, as far as even people just reaching out to you or stopping you at the racetracks or anything, I mean, what's the feedback been like?
Yeah, definitely for me, being at the racetrack quite a bit, a lot of good feedback, a lot of excitement. It's just different. It's kind of new and exciting. Middle of the week. Obviously, the race teams are super pumped, to race for $50,000 on a Tuesday night, right around the location that they're going to be anyway. So, I think it's just, something that everybody's really getting behind and a lot of excitement's building. And, it's year one. So we know that, it's going to take some time for people to really recognize and understand our brand and what we're doing. And I think it's off to a really good start though so far.
Well, and the overall purse too. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that. I mean, just it's 20 grand for second, 10 for third, and $2K to start. So it's not just big money to win. It's solid money throughout the field, which I know is something that's obviously important to you guys too. I want to get some memories from you guys from Lakeside. I know that both of you were obviously a huge part of hand picking these racetracks that are on the schedule. So why Lakeside? Kyle, we can start with you. I mean, what's the allure of this place for you, and why do you want it on the schedule?
I mean, for me, I've never raced at Lakeside, so it's one of I feel like, I mean, there's probably more than a handful of tracks I haven't raced at in a sprint car, but I've never raced there. So that I've gone a handful of times to watch Brad race the Outlaw shows there, and it's always got great racing. I don't typically love like half miles and stuff. And I'm not sure if they classify it as a half mile, but it's got to be close to a half mile. But it seems like it races a lot better than most half miles too. So that dirt's really, really great. I think that region has a lot of race fans. Every time I've gone to an event there, it takes forever to get out of the track because there's so many fans there. So just a great atmosphere. I think it's got the facility to hold a big event like we're putting on, and what better place to have a race that big than Lakeside for our first race of the year.
You've had success at big tracks. Why do you feel like that's not a place that it was maybe at the top of your list or whatever?
I love like, and you can see it based off our schedule. I think all of our races besides Lakeside are like quarter mile to 3/8. And I just feel like you see more exciting races on those size tracks. Like a half mile, I feel like it's got to be like the perfect scenario to have a great race. Unless you're like Knoxville or Eldora, maybe Port Royal. But aside from that, it's hard to put on good races at those half mile tracks, where quarter mile and 3/8, it's like naturally just happens all the time. You got, wild finishes, wild races, crashes. A lot of times half miles just turn into, who qualified the best that night, who drew the best pill in the dash, like that stuff. But so yeah, it was fun kind of drawing up our schedule this year because there's so many more racetracks out there than 11 tracks. And kind of hand picking them and the regions and the fan bases and what we would think would be the best racing was a lot of fun.
Yeah. What about you, Brad? Lakeside memories?
Yeah. I mean, Kyle, he made the rule, no half miles. So the exception was Lakeside, but when you want to do something big, you need a place that's going to hold enough fans so that the business side kicks in a little bit, and trying to find that place that we thought could create good racing and kick our season off in a region that was, hopefully warm enough in April. Obviously it narrows it down. So Lakeside was definitely the place to go. I think it could, I've had many great races at Lakeside. It's a great spot. So I'm excited. I've won there in the past.
Okay, Brad's really good there. That's why he wanted a 50,000 to win it.
Yeah.
When you're the boss, you can make it.
Like we're either going to Lakeside. We can't go to Volusia. So
Lernerville's our other 50 grand. There's a little strategy to that.
He's strategic on that.
Yeah. Basically, no, but I do like Lakeside. To Kyle's point, really good fan base around that area. Kansas City's got a lot of race fans, and a lot of people are, that are going to be excited to get out, in the spring here to see something like, what we're trying to do, and to see Kyle Larson, to see Brad Sweet, to see all these stars show up on a Tuesday night. We think we're going to get great support there. And I think, the amount of talent that's going to be there, there's no doubt that it's going to turn into a great show.
Yeah.
You're racing, right, Brad?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm the KPR car or what?
Yeah. I'll be in the Napa 49. I think most of the Outlaw teams are going to show up to this one in their normal cars, and 50,000 to win shows. There's not a ton of them out there. So these guys are definitely licking their chops, and, basically our group against kind of the Outlaws a little bit. I think there'll be some smack talk going for sure.
Yeah, that'll be fun. New rivalry. The posse's, we're going to leave the posse in the dust.
Well, half the posse's on our team now.
That's true. That's true. Yes. Yeah. So we've absolved the posse guys.
We finally figured a way to get them off the porch. Danny Dietrich's actually leaving Pennsylvania. believe it or not.
That's saying something. Yep, that is saying something. What are you guys looking forward to most about this? I mean, there's a lot, I think, on paper, when you look at it that is, easy to get excited about. But for you guys individually, what do you have circled as something you're excited about or something that you're looking forward to?
I mean, for me, it's just more opportunity for me to race a wing sprint car. So I'm excited about that. It's hard for me to build out my schedule of dirt races I run each year because there's not enough midweek shows for me to hit. I'll run Lawrenceburg, the Doty, like those are typically the only, I feel like, sprint car races outside of, Pennsylvania Speed Week and Ohio Speed Week, stuff like that. But, now, 11, 12 was supposed to be 12 midweek races. That's a lot more for me to run. So that's really exciting. But then also, like building the schedule out, going to tracks that I haven't been to before or going to tracks that race fans haven't been to in a long time, like Eagle. I'm super excited about Eagle because they've been kind of starved of sprint car racing there for a long time now. So yeah, doing stuff like that. And then just having a great field of cars, going for great money, a kind of diverse, crop of drivers from different parts of the country is really exciting. So there's a lot there. I could keep going on and on about what I'm excited about, but really, I think the biggest thing I'm excited about is just racing, getting to race more than I have, the last few years.
Yeah. I mean, for me, to Kyle's point, I think it's a good opportunity for us to help make sprint car racing bigger and better. And that's what excites me. There's the big picture is, past just one event or two events or the inaugural season. It's, what can we do here to really elevate sprint car racing? And that really excites me. It's trying to make the events better, more exciting, trying to build a fan base, trying to be innovative, just being able to do things that are maybe different, try things because, we are a new series. We're in the middle of the week. We're only 11 races. So, it's just a good opportunity to see what's going to work. And, I'm excited to see what we can do for sprint car racing as a whole.
Absolutely. Well, I feel like we've got all the bases covered, at least for Lakeside, unless there's something else that you guys that's on the front of your mind that you want to jump in and say something about. So if so, please do. Kyle, I feel like we probably should mention your race coming up leading into Bristol on Thursday, April 6th, the Kyle Larson Late Model Challenge at Volunteer Speedway. Some big names in that one too. Of course, yourself, and then Kyle Busch is going to run, and just saw Chase Briscoe is going to run. That's another 20,000 to win. So you've got that, and then you've got
that's a low paying race too for late models.
Yeah, do what?
So that's a low paying race for late models.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. But still, you combine that with 50 grand on Tuesday, then you're doing all right. And whatever you do at Bristol, I guess too.
Yeah. Finally, sprint car racers are racing more, for more than a late model race. So you got to quit helping those fender guys out. They're doing just fine over there.
It took me to go to late model land to figure it out. So I'm excited to get back in the late model this week. We just built a new car, so it'll be the first race in that. The weather wasn't looking very good, but now it's starting to look a lot better. So, I think, last year the crowd was huge. The viewership, that was the biggest single day event ever on viewership for Flow at the time. So I imagine it's going to be bigger. We've had a lot of rain in this area of the country. Teams are ready to go racing. Fans are ready to go to the racetrack. There's $100,000 to win race there, I think, the following week. So I think a lot of teams will be there to kind of get a little test and tune and see how they stack up and see if they can get better for the following week. So, I think it's going to be massive, and having Kyle Busch a part of the race, Chase Briscoe, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited about it. Hopefully do a little bit better than I did last year. I think I started on the pole and finished fourth. So we'll see if we can do a little bit better.
Brad, when are we getting you in a fender car again in a late model?
No, I'm out. There's only one Kyle Larson in this world that seems like he can go back and forth between all these cars. So I have a hard enough time, winning races in a sprint car. So I got to stay focused doing that.
You just won last week.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, and I enjoy promoting. I let Kyle
do the Prelude to the Dream. What if we ever bring the Prelude to the Dream back?
I mean, I guess never say never, but I just don't know that. I just don't know if I could compete with those guys. They seem, super good, and you're the guy that can kind of jump around. So I let you kind of to lead the ship. Honestly, before you, I really didn't watch late models, and now I'm actually somewhat of a late model fan, and I actually enjoy the racing a lot. So
I remember I was laughing. I think it was when I won the PDC or something a couple years ago. You're like, I remember you telling me the next week or something, like, I would have never watched a late model race before, but here I am laying in bed at like midnight or 1 a.m. watching you run a late model. Like, what in the heck? So no.
I mean, and for me, it's like exciting to see you go, to compete with those guys, and they're tough. Like, you watch, because I know how good you are versus us, and then like, I can see that you still, struggle a little bit, like figuring those cars out. They're definitely different, and I just feel like, man, you're the one guy that can probably adapt. I'm not so sure it'd be so easy for me. And at 37, man, I don't think I have much desire to do it, but I am a fan of it, and I enjoy the racing, and I'm definitely a fan of all the big events that they have.
What is the biggest thing, Kyle, with those cars making that jump that you have had to adjust or have had to learn? Is there one thing that jumps out of you that's like, oh shit, this is weird?
It's always easy. It's just easy for him. Everything's
I know that. Yeah. That's why I'm asking.
It's easy for me to go fast, but once things slow down, that's where I really struggle. So like, I don't know. It's just, it changes a lot, but like, I feel like in the slick, like sprint cars, I feel like most tracks, I mean, Brad does a really good job, Donnie, gravel, like of making grip out of the grip, like finding rhythm and momentum and all that. Where like all of those late model guys are good at that. Where I always like, I'll think that I'm in the grip and they'll just drive right by me, right through the dead slick. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, how did I thought I was in the right part of the track? So I just really struggle when it gets slick, but I think we tested last week, and I think we learned a lot about, the slick, and I'm excited to get on track and now try them and see if I'm any better. So, but yeah, when like, if you look at most all my late model wins, like when the track's got a little bit of moisture, that's when I can win. I mean, we won by like 16 seconds at Alltech when there was like a little bit of crumbs through the middle and stuff like that, where there was traction. That's when I'm really good. Cause you can run hard. It's like when you have to slow down, that's where I struggle. But I think that's like why Donnie is so good, or in his prime, he was so good, like in the slick and finding, momentum in different places is from, the little bit of late model racing that he does. I think I'm sure he watches a lot of late model racing. So I think that's where he had a step ahead of a lot of the wing guys. And then, guys like Brad had to study Donnie and figure it out. And then, he's really good at it too. So it's just a different style of racing. And I think if you can figure it out, it helps for all the racing that I do.
That's what I was going to say. So, I mean, there is, again, like when you look at it, somebody like me that's never driven either of those, it seems like they would be completely different, but there is crossover. You're saying from one to the other, right? I mean, or from the late model back to the sprint car, more so maybe.
It's definitely the most different type of car I've ever driven. Like it doesn't feel like much of anything that I ever raced before. Like I remember when I ran Port Royal that very first weekend, I was like, okay, it kind of feels like maybe a Silver Crown car. You're just bigger and heavier and stuff. But like the more I run it, like it doesn't feel like anything. And then just trying to like, there's just a lot that you can do with your feet and your hands to manipulate the attitude of the car. Which there's a little bit of that in sprint car racing, but like late models I struggle with, like you go down the straightaway, you lift and it dumps and then slides. Where a lot of those guys are really good at just like keeping it up and keeping it at the right platform. And I'm not sure how they do it. I try to be smooth with my feet. I can't figure it out, but that's why I keep doing it. I like the challenge. I don't like sucking at something, but I like the challenge of trying to get better. And yeah, I mean, there was definitely times throughout, my sprint car career coming up, go-karts, even anything, that you have to work at it to get better. And once you do, you hit on it and you can kind of, stay good. So hopefully I get good enough at a late model, which I'm good in a late model. I just want to get to where I feel confident every time I, line up for the feature that I'm going to have a shot to win, there's nights where I'm like, man, it's slick. Like I'm hoping I don't get lapped tonight, because I've been lapped more in my 2.5 years or whatever late model racing than I ever have my whole career of probably cup and sprint car racing combined.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, if they're lapping Kyle Larson, then I don't think I really want to mess around with it.
That has to be like a huge. That has to be a huge.
Probably be
ego
good though.
boost
You're
for
good
those
in the
guys.
slick. You might be a lot better than them.
I think it's just disciplines are just so different, and like the adaptability is just so hard. I feel like to run with Jonathan Davenport, him doing it 80 times a year and however many years of experience with, everybody he does it with, that's his life, then you just come in and mess around with sprint cars, mess around with that. It's hard to compete at that level. Those guys are amazing, just like the sprint car guys are amazing, but there's only, you're kind of a unicorn when it comes to being able to switch around to all the different things and do that stuff. So it's fun to watch, but yeah, it's unrealistic at times for me.
Speaking of JD, how's he going to do this weekend I guess he's running both the truck and the cup car. What do we think he's got for him?
Yeah, I think he's going to do fine. I mean, it's hard for, I think, anybody to like set expectations like too high for him. Cause as we've seen, even with the Formula One drivers that have ran road courses or Jordan Taylor, like it's difficult. Like our series is tough. It's very contact sport. So even at Bristol on the dirt track, like it's because we're going so slow, it's even probably more contact. But I think getting used to all that stuff is what takes getting used to. We're all super aggressive on restarts and stuff. So I think that's the stuff that may hold him back a little bit. I think the driving part of the car, he'll be fine. Especially in the truck. That truck was really good. I think Chase ran it last year and he was one of the fastest trucks on the track. I don't remember how Colleague was last year in the Cup Series, and they seem to have been off a little bit this year, kind of everywhere. So I don't know how he'll be on Sunday, but he's a great race car driver. I feel like he's one of the handful guys that can probably adapt. He's the best there is in late models. So I'm excited.
What's the stock car? Is it way close to a late model or not really even close to a late model? Like, where does it rank like on dirt?
I've never driven a hobby stock or a street stock. It's probably more like that. So
that's what it looks like. We need to get one of those Thunder guys from Kokomo. The Thunder car guys from Kokomo would probably do really well.
Lee Hobbs.
Yeah, Lee Hobbs. He'd wax us at Bristol probably, but no, it's just, I know that's why I go to Bristol and everybody's like, oh yeah, like Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, they got to be the favorites, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, like this is nothing. This is more like a pavement, slick local stock car track that Joey Logano or Kevin Harvick grew up at than it is what I did. So, yeah.
Do they feel like they have a lot of power? Like, do you drive off the right front or the right rear? Like, I've never driven a stock car on dirt, so I just kind of curious.
I don't know. They're slow. They're slow. They're just lazy, slow. Like you get to the throttle and like nothing happens. You lift and like you don't feel like you're like slowing down. You just like kind of like slide into the banking, and then you get in the banking and you're like crank on the wheel.
So it's almost like some of the stuff that you learn on dirt doesn't necessarily isn't going to necessarily make you better because it doesn't necessarily cross over that well. Yeah.
No, I think the only like advantage that like a Bell or I would have is the first 50 laps of the race when track's got grip, it's changing quickly. You know what to look for. We know where to go. So we're just like a couple laps ahead of everybody, and they kind of all just judge off of what we do and then follow whatever lane we go to. But once it gets, and Bristol's got a great surface too. So like it gets to a point, at least last year, racing at night and kind of would rain here and there. It stayed really good. So, but yeah, I think we don't have an advantage, but I think Davenport would be good.
Yeah. Cool. Be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I enjoy it. It's different. It's fun.
Yeah, it is different. That is for sure.
I lobbied with Hendrick to get Brad in the 9.
That would have been awesome.
He said he hasn't won enough outlaw championships yet.
Who is going to drive the 9? Is Chase coming back, or when are we going to know?
I think Josh Berry's still going to be in it.
Okay, cool. Good. He's doing good. So yeah, might as well stick with it. I mean, I don't think a dirt guy is going to just go in there and do any better than a pavement guy. So good for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's done a great job. So he definitely deserves it.
Yeah, he got me some good fantasy points last week. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and wrap this up and head to Lakeside here in a little under a week, April 11th. It's Tuesday, and we'll go for $50,000 to win at the Heartland of America Showdown presented by Trackhouse Racing. Brad, where can folks get tickets?
Yeah, we can get tickets. Fans can find tickets on the High Limit Racing website, highlimitracing.com, or they can go to the Lakeside Speedway website and get tickets. Download the Ticket Hoss app and get a ticket, or you can show up at the event and get a GA walk-up ticket, or you can come in the pits and see me and Kyle and all the stars with the High Limit Racing Series, and all the other outsiders that'll be attending the race. So I think we're going to have a star-studded field. Really looking forward to it, and hopefully the fans come out, support the event.
And if you're not able to make it, you can watch this race at Lakeside and all the others on FloRacing.com and on all the FloRacing platforms as well. So, guys, thank you. This was fun, and we'll do at least 10 more of these, I guess, to preview the other 10 races. So, yeah, cheers, chug, I guess, if you're going to finish your drink. But thank you again, and we'll talk to you next time here from the High Limit Room.
Yeah, we'll be able to talk a little smack on who does better Tuesday night.
Yeah, we'll have an update on the smack talk.
It'll be like 215 days since I ran a sprint car last, so I have an excuse.
I hope Kyle takes a provisional at Lakeside, because I'm not sure that we're going to give him one. But
57 can't qualify on a half mile, so I'm definitely nervous about Lakeside.
Oh, all right. Well,
cheers.
Cheers. Exactly. We'll end it that way. Cheers.